Hey guys, welcome back to the Rockford Ordnance. We're live, and it's another edition of Coffee and Kalashnikovs. It's what's the date today? April 17th. And how's it going, guys? I hope everything's going well for you. Got a few people in here, and we'll have a few more coming, I'm sure. Yes, we're still coming to you from the motorhome. I got to keep it kind of quiet. No, my wife's doing some work, and sometimes it disturbs her when I talk louder. I'm sure I'll get worked up here, but we'll go through our usual and have a bit of fun tonight. If there's anybody new in here, it is what it is. It's Coffee and Kalashnikovs. We get together once a week or so and talk about our favorite hobby, firearms. It's not just Kalashnikovs, it's anything you want to shoot. We talk about what you put in the comments here, so make sure you join in. Everybody's nice. Nobody will make fun of you. Nobody will tell you you're asking stupid questions. None of that. And we talk about 2A events, new firearms, old firearms, competition, shotguns, pistols, you name it. Military surplus, a little bit of everything, and then sometimes just daily life, right? Talk about hate to use the term, but we talk about prepping, preparedness, self-defense, you name it, we talk about it. So whatever's on your mind, throw it in the comments and we'll talk about it. We got Ross in here. How's it going, Ross? Hope you're doing good there in the mighty state of Michigan. Hope your governor got a bad case of crabs or something over the last week. That'd be nice. Serve her right. But yeah, boy, she is a beaut, isn't she? I don't envy you guys at all. And Joe's in here. What's up, Joe? Good to see you. Joe's got a great channel. Get over there and check it out. He does some cool stuff and his daily rants and all kinds of good stuff. Kay is in here. Favorite carry pistols. I've been loving my P365. It always impresses me at the range. So, my favorite carry pistol is a P365 XL. I have not tried the new one, the whatever it is, the what is it, a Mega or something, or I don't remember. They got so many damn versions. SIG is really good at that. They're really good at putting out just different variations of one platform. Like their 1911s, for instance, or even the 320s. You name it, they'll put out 20 different versions, whether it's just different grips and a little bit different machining, different barrel lengths, cutouts, sights, what have you. And they'll go to town and you know, if you catch a guy that's into collecting or he likes to have a whole series, he'll have 6 of the same gun if he likes it, and they sell more guns. I get it. Some of it's marginal at best, just cosmetics, that kind of thing. But I love my 365 XL. I did try it with the SIG red dot on there, and I just can't get used to it. So I went back to irons on it. That thing's a piece of junk anyways. I had the one with the metal shroud on it, and it just, even using a torque wrench, ends up flattening the plastic and different stuff. Just, I couldn't get used to it. And I want to be able to I want to be able to rely on it. And just my muscle memory, so many years of shooting, it's hard to switch over. I tried, can't do it. But I love my 365 XL and carried it religiously until I went to and I don't want to hear any grief for it, but I went to a Friends of the NRA dinner a couple of years ago. And, well, a year ago, I guess. And I won a Springfield Armory Hellcat. And I got it about a week after the event. Took it to the range, and I really like that U-shaped sight in the back. And started shooting it. Not a bad little gun. And just because I wouldn't have bought one if I hadn't won it. So I really don't care about it. And that way, if it gets banged around, beat around, like the other day, I'm working on my tractor. I'm laying in the gravel and I'm rolling on it and everything. And I don't care what happens to it. And it's one of those guns that if you don't care what happens to it, it's comfortable, it's small, it's got decent capacity, you're always going to wear it. And that's the point of it. You need to wear it always. It needs to be on you, even when you're home. It needs to be next to you, on you, whatever. And frankly, I forget it's on. My 365, basically the same thing. And I like that gun better. Don't get me wrong. Fits my hand better. I like the longer grip with the extended mags, and it just feels better. Points more natural. Just like it a lot, and it always works too. That's a great thing. And for whatever reason, I started carrying that Springfield Armory Hellcat, and then with our move and everything, and a lot of stuff went in storage, that was the only pistol I had around. So that's what I've been wearing for the last 8 months straight. So always with me. As soon as I can, I'll go back to the 365, but who knows? May feel strange by that point. I don't know. Right behind me here, out our windshield, that's a shade that's down. I was going to leave it up tonight, but I figured we'd get too many lights reflecting off it and whatnot. But put up some steel out there in front of the berm, and been doing some shooting. Ran a bunch of rounds through the Uzi, and what else did we do? Some more through the ZPAP underfolder, bunch of stuff. I was going to break out the MP5 and have a little fun, and get busy with working on my tractor. And what else was I doing? Oh, it started raining. So the rain kind of bogs things down here because it's all mud when it rains. And it's just hard to do anything when it's wet and muddy and nowhere to get out of the rain. So I was going to get home last night and put together a video and just couldn't get out there. So, but we got our steel targets up, a few of them, and some paper target hangers and all, and been doing a bunch of shooting. So mostly 9mm, having a good time, and getting back in the swing of things. I've got another range laid out, a really nice setup. We'll be shooting kind of downhill and across the hill from what at one point will be a patio off the back of my pole barn. And we'll have shooting benches out there. It's a perfect spot, and it's a great view and just nice place you can hang out with your buddies, do a little shooting or have a barbecue, have a beer or whatever. So I think that'll be the spot. And kind of sitting up there scoping it out the other night, and 2 big tom turkeys came across. It is turkey season here. If I could get the picture here, I'll try and show you guys. But right out the windshield here, I get a text from my wife the other morning, and right in front of the window is a big gobbler all puffed up and everything. And these things are huge. For those of you that have never seen a turkey up close, I mean, these things are massive. And especially when they're, doing their little mating call dance out there. And yeah, he was right off the front of the windshield here. Here we go. Let's see. Here's a good one. Hopefully the camera picks it up. You can see the windshield in the back of my UTV, and then he's right next to it there. But there he is, all pumped up and ready to go. He's got a nice beard on him. Beard's almost touching it here. I'll see if I can blow him up a bunch more here. Look how blue the head is and red. And then, I don't know, is that considered a long beard, guys? See the beard hanging down there? Where is it? Right there. I don't know. He's pretty good size. Anyhow, yeah, they're not afraid of much. Here he is again. That's off the windshield of my UTV there, but he was all fanned out and strutting for somebody. So I wish I was home. Would have got online real quick, done my license, grabbed my shotgun, ran outside. Very sportsmanlike, huh? I'm just kidding. But yeah, so a lot of turkeys around. The deer have been around. Turkey vultures. Look at these ugly things. You guys ever seen turkey vultures? Quite possibly the most hideous animal ever put on the face of the planet. And right after my wife saw the turkeys, she saw these up in the tree, and she said, "Do they roost that high?" And I said, "Oh, they can roost pretty high." But then when I blew up the picture like this, you can see two big turkey vultures. I saw these things standing in the road one day, and they're unbelievable. They're huge. I mean, they probably stand 3.5 feet high. We've got sandhill cranes like crazy. I mean, they're everywhere lately. I'll see 2 in every field, it seems, sometimes more, and boy, do they make the noise at night. Been messing around with the turkey call, calling them in, getting them to answer, that kind of stuff. I'd probably hunt. I just don't have the time right now for it. And then what am I going to do with it? I mean, the biggest thing with turkeys is basically what most people do is just breast them. They pull the breast out and you cook that. I've had some turkey jerky one time, but I've never tried the breast, made like you would any other turkey breast or Thanksgiving turkey. Not sure how good it is. I've heard mixed reviews. And then there's the pain in the ass of plucking the damn thing and all that crap. I don't. That's a pain. So, we'll get around to hunting them. We got a lot of time. They're everywhere. But I don't know. Just with not having the house set up and everything, it would be a pain right now. Let's go back to the comments here and see who else jumped in. Yeah, Kay, to answer you on that EDC, I love my P365, and that's in normal times, that's what I would carry 99% of the time. Although I do switch it up a little. Like if it's summertime and it's super hot, and I'm just wearing shorts or something, I will throw my Smith & Wesson Bodyguard 380 pistol in my pocket with a gripper holster, just a sleeve basically, and toss that in my pocket if I'm running a gas station or something like that. Once in a while I get the urge to carry 1911. Usually it's when I've got well-fitting pants and a tight belt on so they don't end up around my ankle. But I like carrying a 1911, something about it. Usually in the winter, though, when you got bigger coats and stuff like that, because let's face it, it's a big gun. And for that, I'd love to carry, I've got a SIG We the People that's got that tumbled finish on it. I guess basically they nitride it, and then they put it in a tumbler and tumble it to wear it off randomly, the finish. It's got We the People down the slide. It's got 13 stars on the top of the slide. The grips are aluminum, and they've got 25 stars on each side. It's kind of a showpiece in a way, but the grips are very comfortable and very grippy. And it's a great gun. It's my favorite 1911, but I did buy an RAI 1911, just the I think it's called the GI issue or GI Classic, whatever it is. Did a video on it, and it's the cheapest 1911 I could find out there, and the thing runs great. And again, it's one of those guns you don't worry about beating it up, you know. And originally I bought it just to go on display with my M1 Grand because it looked real basic, you know, and didn't want to put the money out for a real period 1911 at the time. So it just kind of displayed well with it, you know, but I've done some videos on it. That gun just runs and runs, and for the money, it's really smooth. I mean, a little thing work and you could have a decent gun. I wouldn't shy away from some guns either. Those Rock Island Armory, they're all made in the Philippines, and just nice guns for the money. Nothing wrong with them at all. So once in a while I'll throw one of those in. I love my M17, my SIG 320. You see a pattern here developing? I'm not a fanboy, but I just like SIG. I don't know. I was never a Glock fan. Been putting a lot of thought into that M18, essentially SIG's version of the Glock 19. But I like longer barrels. I don't know. I like full-size pistols, you know. And yeah, it's a nice gun. So I don't know. I'll switch it up every now and then. You never know. I did buy a Kimber Micro 9 Raptor because I thought, hey, how cool. A tiny 9mm I can carry, throw in my pocket, and it doesn't operate exactly like a 1911, but it looks like one. And I can't get that gun to run right. So one of these years I'll end up sending it back to him to fix it, but haven't gotten around to it. It's only been like 4 years. Let's see who else is in here. Todd Ingram, hello everyone. Todd up here in New Hampshire just picked up a 223 Sega. Cool. But came to realize it takes rock and lock mags. Any tips where to find them cheap? Well, I don't know about cheap, but I tend to like the Arsenal 223 waffle mags, and Circle 10 waffle mags. They're referred to as both in 7.62 by 39 and 5.56 223. I don't think you'll find a better mag, and I'll bet those will work just fine in there. Maybe some of the Polish offerings will work fine in there. There's a few good ones out there, but the waffle mags aren't cheap. At one point when Arsenal first brought out the SAM 5, you could get some package deals that were okay, and I picked up like 8 mags, I think, and that's enough for me. And now I look at the prices and they've gone up a bit, but maybe the Polish mags, I think you might be able to do okay on the green ones. Maybe they're like green translucent. Maybe check out Arms of America, see what they got. They got some pretty good deals over there once in a while. Might be a good way to go. So I take it doesn't have a pistol grip, most likely, or maybe it was converted. I don't know. Let us know on that Sega. I don't know if you guys, some of you guys have been around AKs a long time, but it used to always, it was like conflicting. You'd go in a gun shop and you'd see a Sega sitting there, but it wasn't, I mean, it was the AK pattern, but it had a regular stock, no pistol grip. And you'd look at it kind of like a second-class citizen and go, well, you know, I could convert it. Or if you saw one converted already, you'd be like, well, don't know who converted it. Who knows what they did? And half of them were butchered, you know. But when you'd see a nice one, still unconverted and everything, you go, well, you know, maybe. And now I wish I'd picked up more of them, because even those are bringing some good bucks, you know. But yeah, one in particular I remember up in Toma, Wisconsin. Stopped in a hardware store, and they had somebody traded one in brand new in the box, and it was a 7.62 by 39 gun, but just had the regular rifle stock and the longer forend and everything. And I hemmed and hawed on it, and it was like, I don't know, $400 maybe. And I thought, I don't know, I could. This is back when you could still get, a Wasser for maybe 500-600. I don't know. Maybe more than that. Maybe we were at 600 or 700 by then. But looking back, that was a steal, Let's see. So yeah, I hope you have some fun with that Sega, man. Let us know how it goes. Joe, good to see you, Rock. Good to see you too, brother. We keep rolling, don't we, Joe? Ross, the 2 vacated house seats were both refilled with Demeray. Yeah, I heard. That was I just can't believe it. So they have a 1-seat majority again, assault weapon bag, mag bands, yeah. Just remember, they're unconstitutional, period, end of story. And they know that. They just count on that clock that ticks because they know the hands of justice work slowly, and they'll get what they can get out of it. But I recommend not complying. Again, I'm no attorney, but it's funny. I was caught a video from a creator out of Illinois, and I believe he's out of Chicago. And he was talking about 5 things you should know if you live in Illinois. And we've got quite a few people in here from Illinois. And of course, I was in Illinois for a while. And, it's confusing down there. A lot of people don't know what's legal and what's not, what they can have and what they can't. And I still hear people saying, well, I hear I was supposed to register mine or something, and can I still register it? It's like, oh man, no. My best recommendation at this point would be do not do that. That'd be like turning yourself in, Yeah, you missed it. It had to be done by, I guess, January 1st. And then there's different mag restrictions now. I guess maybe up to 15 rounds in a pistol. I thought it was 11, though, for some reason. And yeah, I don't even know. It's confusing. There's different for rifle, different for shotgun, even if it's tube fed, etc. As far as anything on the ban list or a quote assault weapon, you just can't have it. You can't buy it. You can't have it. You can't sell it. You can't transfer it. If you registered it, which hardly anyone did, it's grandfathered, I guess. But hopefully you were with the crowds and didn't do it, because it is unconstitutional. And, nobody wants to run afoul of the law. But then again, an unjust law is just that. And why bother? I guess if push came to shove and something happened and they actually did decide to press charges or what have you, you'd have to fight it, and yeah, it'd be costly, but I'd be willing to bet somebody, an organization would step up to the plate. But in the meantime, it screws up your life. They lock up your bank accounts, everything else. And yeah, you'd be pretty much screwed. But it's funny because I'll talk to some friends that still live down there and be like, hey, man, let's go shooting, And they're like, what do you mean? We can't. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like the thing? Oh, yeah, I forgot. I'm like, well, we can shoot in Wisconsin. Come on up here, But they're afraid to travel even, What if you get pulled over for something stupid, speeding ticket, tail light out, whatever. Now, most sheriffs have pledged not to enforce it, but you never know who gets a hold of you and what county, state, municipality, what have you, So who knows? But it's a terrible thing. It's a terrible thing. It's like the brace the brace band. You know, there were a few times where I thought, oh man, I'd love to go out and shoot this or shoot that. And then you go, oh shit, yeah, I had to get rid of all those, you know. And now that we've got the injunctions in place, well, we can shoot them again. But I haven't even done that because something in the back of your head, and that's the intent they want to have, right? That's what they hope happens. And I'll be damned if I'm going to let that happen. But that's what's cool about the Uzi right now is with the longer barrel, it's a rifle, just with a collapsible stock. Although the goofiest looking rifle that should be a subgun / SBR on the planet. But man, it does give you some velocity. I was hitting that steel target with it. And I'm walking past the road or trail or driveway, whatever it is, going past where I was shooting it. And I see this stuff down in the gravel on the road, and I'm like, oh, I know what that is. And I look how far the splay went out. Oh my God, it traveled quite a ways from there. It's interesting how lead goes. If you've never seen slow motion photography of bullets hitting AR-500 steel, it's incredible. It liquefies momentarily and vaporizes and does all kinds of stuff. You never want to be shooting AR-500 steel when it's upwind of you, because the wind will carry the vapors back and you're essentially breathing in lead. Not good. There's been some shooters that have gotten very ill from it, especially guys, pro shooters that are training a lot and whatnot. I actually had a lead test done, I don't know, last year or something. Just wasn't feeling myself, and I thought I couldn't pin it on anything, and I thought, well, maybe I'll get checked, and it came back negative. So plus all the reloading I do, and I should wear gloves and I don't, and well, especially touching all that. So gotta be careful out there with it. But yeah, Ross, unfortunately, I'm sure you'll see a whole slew of things coming down the pipe, right? Yeah, the macro on that 365. And of course, it's a Legion. Nothing wrong with that. I'd like a Legion 320, that's for sure. And why not a macro Legion? That'd be badass. Just got one 2 days ago. Haven't fired it yet. So you got a 365X macro. So it's an XL, but even a little bigger, correct? If I'm right on that one, which that'd be a good thing. Hey, Chase, how are you, man? I hope everything's going well for you. Good to see you. Chase, a long-time visitor of the channel here. And anybody new here, by all means, make yourself, a long-time listener to the channel. We have a good time. We talk about whatever you want to talk about. It's just laid back. Now that we're getting close to our house and homestead being finished, or at least not finished. It'll be a long time till everything's finished, but at least where we can move in the house, we'll get all the videos going again. And we snuck a couple in there on the ZPAP underfolder, and we'll get some more here as the weather gets nicer and everything's warming up. And let's see, it's April, I'm guessing May, June. Kind of planning on being in the house by 4th of July. Give you a little quick update on it. I think last time we talked, they were done framing, and we were either getting the roof on or had just gotten the roof on, but we've got the roof on, shingled. Everything's framed out inside, everything. Windows are in, most of the windows. There's a couple that still have to go in. The plumbing is roughed in completely. HVAC is roughed in pretty much completely, ductwork, all that. And the electrical is roughed in. They are pouring the basement slab and the garage slabs tomorrow. And then it's off to the races, man. Then it's finish that stuff up. I guess drywall next and getting it sided and all that good stuff. There's still a lot to go. Still got get the well put in, the septic put in. Got to move our propane tank. Got a big 1,000-gallon propane tank. Came from the great state of Michigan over here. I went and picked it up. Just, let's see, was it Michigan or was it Indiana? Got it from an Amish family that redoes them. Anyhow, hauled a 1,000-gallon tank back on a trailer that was not meant to support it. So I looked like a very unsafe rolling bomb going down the highway. But it's a huge tank. We're going to set it back off the woods, in the woods a little, and hopefully camouflage it with some trees, probably paint it. Oh, wouldn't it be cool? I just thought about that. I say we do it up in that. Why not? Look cool, right? I don't know how good an artist I am at drawing it out and doing it, but why not? Be cool if we could Cerakote it. But yeah, give it a try. Why not? Does the screen look blurry? I guess not. I don't know. Maybe it was out of focus. Now it's in. Anyhow, we're going to put it off in the woods a little bit, but can't be too far so the truck can get to it. But I just don't want a white tank in there. I don't want to plant all kinds of crap around it. I'm going to be as unobtrusive as possible. Just cut a wide enough thing to swing it back in there and set it down on some blocks. I don't even think we're going to pour a pad for it. Who knows? Maybe eventually, but or maybe I'll frame one up and do it myself. I don't know. We'll see. But get that hooked up and then grading, and they'll have to pour the front porch and garage doors and on and on and on, cabinets. And we picked out appliances, and I think she's got the cabinets picked out. And then it's countertops and flooring and all kinds of stuff. But when the plumber's finished, my builder told us we were 3 weeks, or we picked up 3 weeks. We had fallen behind a whole bunch, but we picked up 3 weeks with him. So, and then I think we lost a little ground this week, but maybe we're a couple of weeks ahead of schedule. I'm not like counting on it, not setting my heart on it, because that'll just make it harder when the day I thought it would be passes by and we're not in yet, you know. Just give you a little more anxiety and worry and whatever else. So just kind of going with the flow, not getting upset over anything, because for a while I was just super stressed out between this and work and family and everything else, and it was getting to me, and most of it I was getting to my wife, and I don't want to stress her out. So just doing the best I can to hang in there a couple more months. The worst is over. Winter's over. We got through the minus 15 degrees and freezing. And keep in mind, guys, I've been hauling water this whole time by 35 gallons at a crack. We got a 100-gallon tank in the motorhome. So, you know, I try to keep it always over 50, but sometimes we let it run down. So 3 days in a row, sometimes I'm bringing it from work, and then of course, we got to haul sewage out, and thank God we have a dump station at the RV dealer I work for, and so that makes it a bit easier, but it's never fun. Every time I'm coming to work with 50 gallons of poop in the back, I think, what if I get rear-ended right now? I had to explain that one to the cops when they show up and everything's sprayed. Well, it doubles as a manure spreader, sir. Anyhow, yeah, none of it's fun, let me tell you. And then hauling garbage and everything, because we can't get garbage pickup because we don't officially have an address yet and all that good stuff. P.O. box to get mail, and everything's in chaos, tumult. Everything's up in the air all the time, you know. And then there's the driveway that floods because they're not done with it. So we get an 80-foot lake at the bottom of it when it rained last night. And all that kind of good stuff, you know. And then being cooped up in whatever this is, 37 feet, something like that, with dogs and a cat and everything else. And Last night it rained and the window was leaking for some odd reason, and it gets old real fast. And I love RVing. I absolutely love it. I would go full time, but I didn't picture full time sitting in a muddy construction area with 3 dogs and a cat, and in a motorhome that I don't care for. We got a different one right before we did this, and I should have kept the old one. It was much more comfortable. It lived better, I guess, is the term I'm looking for. It just worked better. It was easier to relax in. It had a comfier living room, I guess. Better bathroom, way better bathroom. This bathroom is so uncomfortable the way it's set up that my wife doesn't even shower here. She goes to health club every day, so that's fine. But yeah, it turns into a pain in the neck. It really does. When you have to do something, it's different than vacationing and doing it, So anyhow, we're a lot closer. I'm glad I gave you guys an update, because I think those that have been here last few weeks or whatever know that we've come a long way in just the last month even. So really, really feels good to get it going. Let's see. Yeah, like I said, Chase, good to see you, man. I'm glad you're in here. Don't care. It feels rocket. Champ still rocking Gen 1 M&P shield, and Terran tactical extensions, runs flawlessly and easy to carry. Yep. It's a great gun. I was never big on Smith & Wesson semis. I got that Bodyguard as a gift and carried it a long time, and then one day went to the range with my daughters and my wife. I'm showing them how to shoot it, and my daughter pulls the trigger and click, click, click. Like, give me that. Check and reload the mag. Firing pin broke in it. And I thought that would be the worst feeling, have something happen and you draw down and click. Oh my God. Firing pin broke, I assume from dry fire. I don't know. But a firing pin shouldn't break from dry fire. I mean, it's ridiculous. And I know the shields are better and all that, but I just never, I don't know, never a Smith & Wesson automatic guy. You think that's a decent beard on it? I don't know what's long. Somebody told me, it's got to be touching the ground, and then they measure the spurs. Not a turkey hunter, but obviously I guess I will be. I'd like to have one do a nice mount with the fan, how they do it, and the beard hanging and all. That'd be kind of cool. Just to put on the wall, Actually, a full mount would be nice if you had enough room for it. But they sure are pretty. Boy, oh boy. And of course, you'd have to try it, right? I don't hunt anything I'm not going to eat, so I'd eat it one way or another. Let's see. Tom P's here from Texas. Good to see you, man. I hope, I don't know if you're in Brandon Herrera's district. Is that vote coming up here pretty soon? I got to check in on it. I've just been so busy. If it hasn't and you are, boy, oh boy, get out there and vote for him. He's got a great chance of beating the incumbent in the runoff. That he was the top contender in the runoff. And hey, how great would it be to have a true Second Amendment advocate have a seat in the House in Texas? That would just be fabulous. So we need more of that. It can be done. If you're in one of those districts where the incumbent's weak or a rhino, or maybe, some of these districts, these guys go unchallenged forever and ever and ever. And, it's just whatever. Either people think, well, we're not going to get them out. There's no way. You might be surprised. They might be absolutely sick of them. Should investigate, what's going on. Why can't you do it? Why not? I think if you are an informed citizen with reasonable intelligence, no reason you can't do it. This government was set up to be run and managed by the people, for the people. You and me, the everyday guy, the shopkeeper, the what have you. Yeah, that would be fabulous. And I tell you guys all the time, it starts local. Local's most important. Whether it's town board, school board, committee, anything. Get your feet wet. Go to the meetings. That's where it starts. Go to the meetings. As soon as this house is done, I'm going to the meetings because I'm not letting things happen to me here that happen down south. Not allowing it. I'm going to keep my eyes open and peeled and listen for the warnings, right? Because we've all got plenty of warnings before these things come in and or are taken over by the left. And it's, they've become so radical that even that Democratic center, that just left of center crowd is like, I don't agree with that either. And those folks will, vote for someone just right of center. They're people just like we are for the most part. Maybe there's an issue or two that they don't agree with the conservative viewpoints on, but they're open and more flexible probably than you think. And, obviously some people have that hill that they'll die on, or they're a one issue voter. And while I wouldn't say I'm a one issue voter, I guess when it does come to the Second Amendment, that is my line in the sand, period. Because I think everything else relies on that. Freedom of speech. There's only one way to back up that freedom. Only one way. Yeah, so I think it's the most important. Everything else relies on it, because without it, there's no way you can say, no, you're not going to do that. You know what I mean? So, yeah, if you look at it that way, I guess I am a one-issue voter. Thank you. I do like Arsenal. Even if you're not an Arsenal fan, their mags, I love a good steel Comblock mag, but man, those are just such great mags. Yeah, they're pricey, but they're stout, they're robust, they've got a great tactile feel. You can feel quality in them. They're quiet, just nice. Love them, and never had one single issue with them. Todd, regular stock, I figured they aren't importing them anymore. Yeah, grab it, absolutely. And, when all that stuff was coming in hot and heavy, there were tons of companies converting them. And there's still some good ones out there. You can do it yourself if you've got the means or you want to learn how. At this point, I don't know if I even would. Maybe it's going to be worth more unconverted. I don't know. Martin, oh God, I made it. It's about goddamn time. No, I'm kidding. I am on a FAL high water rifle DSA. They do make some nice stuff, don't they? I don't know if you've seen my video that I did a little collab with Fabrizio from El Tenda's channel. He's tight with those guys over at DSA, and they gave him one of their short carbine FALs to test and try, and he brought it to a video. It was just me and him going to the range for a day of fun. We weren't going to shoot any videos, nothing. We're just going to bring 5-6 guns each that we liked and wanted to play with, and we ended up filming it. But what a great gun. Oh my God. It takes, an FAL is wonderful. Mine's wonderful, but boy, I'd hate to lug that long bastard around, so when you shorten it up, yeah, it's cool. Even my AR-10, I built that as a carbine, and it's cool. I like it. I think I got a 16-inch barrel on there, maybe an 18. I think a 16. It's just a cool gun. But I did some interesting things with the recoil system. And so if you're into air on it, it's a great gun. There he is. Tsuchinoko's Plum Wild. There he is. Any opinions on the latest shenanigans from the AFT? Hell yeah. Got a lot of opinions on that crap. So, Arkansas, I think it's the Attorney General, is demanding body cam footage of that whole ordeal with the airport supervisor that got put to sleep, so to speak, early one morning about 6 a.m. when they came a knocking. And they claim he fired first and hit one of their officers, and they took it upon themselves to put down their perceived threat. My opinion is you've got a guy that runs an airport, and airports of all places are what? No gun zones, right? Can't have a firearm at an airport, right? I mean, yeah, you can fly with one, all that, but certainly not a place where most people would be carrying. So why not just show up at work with two officers? There's security all over. He'd probably just think you're TSA or whatever, and hey, can we talk to you for a second? And click, click, and he'd still be alive, and his family would have been put in danger. His wife was there. Supposedly he was protecting his wife. He heard the door come in and went down to protect her. What would you think? In the dark at 4, 5, 6 a.m., you're laying in bed with your wife, and all of a sudden, bam, the front door comes in. I know what I'd do. I'd jump out of bed, arm myself, and head for the door, right? Or at least take up a position in the room where I can see them before they see me. And I'm sure he did the same. This is a guy that, was an established person with a job, a good job, obviously not a criminal because of the security clearances and all to be, I think he was the director or something of the airport. They're accusing him of selling guns without an FFL. Basically, they're saying he bought guns on Gun Broker and other places, gun shops, what have you, and then was selling them to individuals through whatever means. Some were at gun shows, other stuff. And I guess these were people that couldn't legally own guns, but and I guess he did a bunch of them. So they're saying, who knows? I don't see a guy in a position like that making decent money. What's he need to make? $50, $25, $75 on selling a Glock, But supposedly he bought a lot of them and sold a lot of them. I don't know. I'm sure that'll all come out, or maybe it would have come out. Now it won't, obviously. But I do know the family is suing. They could have followed him to work, pulled him over, anything. It's a guy in a suit and tie. You really think he's going to create a scene? If he gets pulled over, gets approached at work, catch him as he's pulling in the driveway at night. A million ways they could have taken him down other than kicking the front door in. And if you watch the video, they blocked either his whatever camera he had, a Ring camera or whatever. They taped it or did something. They show him plastering it over. So now you see your camera go out. You see a bunch of guys coming to the door. You see your camera go out. And then you hear a bunch of screaming and yelling and your door kicking in. What are you going to think? What are you going to do? Stand there and wait to see what happens? Wait to get gunned down? You don't know who it is, what it is, what's going on. Or are you going to, prepare to defend yourself? Love that movie. We Were Soldiers. When they're being overrun, gentlemen, prepare to defend yourselves. Oh, that was pretty good. That was a pretty good imitation. Love that movie. Let's see. Joe, I had baked beans and ham. Stand by. So yeah, that's my opinion on that. Not to mention, um, the new rule, Biden's new rule, that if you sell a gun, basically for any reason, anyhow, any amount, even now, you could be considered operating without a FFL. And it's a very generalized and clouded explanation of it all, where basically they can make anything fit that scenario. And that's what they want, frankly. It's just ridiculous, Now you don't have to make the majority of your income from it. If you are selling a gun to make any money, like let's say maybe you bought something back in the day, it was $200, and now the price is skyrocketed and it's worth $4,000. And you say, you know what, I could use the money. I'm going to sell it. You're in business to make a profit now, and you need an FFL. So you could be charged with a felony, potentially. Yeah. It's all nuts, gentlemen. And that's why I say you need to keep up the fight. Bruin didn't stop shit. Yes, it codified a lot of things, but until all these laws and cases have been retried, readjudicated, with Bruin as the new standard, you're going to continue to see it go on. And it'll pick up speed. It'll ramp up. They'll fall one by one like they all are. But until then, what are you going to do? Let's see. Well, yes, Martin says, so if I get shot in body armor, my chin is going to get hit with lead. It depends on how well what kind of armor and how it was made. So if you're wearing AR-500 steel plates and they're not covered with basically rhino lining, yeah, it could, because little pieces splatter off of there pretty good if they're coated. And they'll coat almost all of them, but then they'll charge you for an extra coating. Frankly, I would probably do it because yeah, that stuff could be pretty wicked. And if you caught it in the soft area of certain parts, who knows? Wouldn't be comfortable. Yeah, you'd survive the brunt of it, but obviously the plate carrier is probably going to catch some. The coatings are going to catch some. I think they do make like a neck throat protector, but that's uncomfortable. It's always rubbing. It's always up, hitting you in the wrong spot. So I'd spend a few extra bucks, get it done, or hell, for that matter, when you get the plates, go get a can of spray on rubberized undercoating, whatever you want to do, spray it on there. It's just there to catch the little pieces. But look up some pictures online. You can see it can do some damage. And especially, rifle rounds and stuff. Yeah, for sure. Joe, have you had a few already tonight? Or 10 or 15? Mark M., howdy, how are you? I'm from Madison, Wisconsin. We actually have a chance to rid ourselves of the abomination. Yes. No kidding. Wouldn't that be nice? I'm just getting used to, let's say, Madison and southern Wisconsin politics. I'm more familiar with northern Wisconsin, but either way, Tammy's got to go. But hopefully we'll see. We don't want this state to, it's certainly purple, or so they say, but I'll tell you what, in the last election, at that point, I was traveling the state almost daily. Certainly throughout the week, I would travel the state from the southern border to almost the northern border, and about west, maybe Reedsville, that area, Toma, all the way east to Milwaukee. On a weekly basis, that's about what I cover. And yeah, it's just what I saw in my travels, but the support you saw out there, whether it was lawn signs or talking to people in a gas station or what have you. And I know Madison's a stronghold and Milwaukee, but even Milwaukee, a lot of it's not what you think it is. It's not that strong. Not like Madison. All I can say, this is all I'll say, is when it was all over, I was shocked. Absolutely shocked. Not in a million years did I think that result would happen. No way. Yeah, I was shocked. Wisconsin is the Midwest at its finest, and homegrown farming, salt of the earth people. Yeah, I get it. City enclaves, but it's not like they have the populations of a Chicago or something like that, you know? I don't know. I don't get it, but I do know this. We need to do everything in our power to keep it from going that way. We need to vote these people out and get the right people in, and the state needs to hold the line right where it's at. I love this state. Absolutely love it. Loved it since I was a little boy. And I don't think that you'd be hard-pressed to find a better place to live, that's for sure. Martin, I searched for FAL Steel Metric Mags. The entire web is out of stock. Also went to the largest gun show. I saw a bunch of brand new. Where was I? Damn it. Oh. Let me do a little check-in for you this week. They were new in the wrapper, baby. And there were some at the gun show, but where the heck else did I see them? Well, I know they had to be the one shop. So I'll check it out and let you know. We'll see. Maybe I can help you out. But yeah, the price, I bet you they're at least $50 for sure. Think about trying a 16-inch AR-10 mid-length with full-size rifle. Well, I did the A5 rifle buffer. So check that out. It's in between the rifle and the carbine. It was originally developed for the Marines. They wanted to be able to keep their lowers with their rifle stocks, but change to a carbine upper and not have to change out buffers and all that. So they came up with the A5 system. And Magpul makes a buffer. Well, I forget the name of the company now. Go watch my video. I show it all on there. And then you get the A5 buffer tube. It lengthwise, it falls right between a carbine and a rifle. You use a rifle spring, I believe, and go to heavybuffers.com and just ask the owner, tell him what you're doing, and he'll recommend. He does an extra heavy buffer. I think mine weighs almost 12 ounces. I do have an adjustable gas block on it, but I don't need it. The thing runs magnificently. I promise you, everybody that's done it, that's taken my advice and done this, is beyond the moon excited as to how it runs. And it's so soft, so wonderful. It's great. Magpul makes a couple stocks, including their PRS, that can accommodate it. You can use other things. You can use a carbine buffer with the rifle spring with it. There's a few ways to go, but just trust me when I tell you, I did a ton of research, and go watch my video, and it's great. It's fabulous. The gun just runs and it shoots soft, and it's a great gun. Love it. I do want to build a full-on rifle, AR-10 one of these days, but I love that gun. It's accurate as hell too. What else? What else? What else? That was after they taped over the security camera on the outside of his house. Yeah. New Mexico is in here. Boy, a lot of new people. Good to see you, Vince. Thanks for stopping in. We do talk about AKs, guys. If you're here for AKs, that's usually the conversation, but we touch on everything because, you know, as much as involved as I am in the AK platform, and at some point, you know, we like everything, and sometimes you run out of topics, or I feel like I do. It's funny. I was wondering, you guys remember last week, or I guess it was 2 weeks ago? Pretty sure it was 2 weeks ago. Somebody asked about changing the rear sight out on their AK or SKS, and they said that they took my advice with the glove trick and knocking it out of there, but they couldn't get it back in. And I said, I'll do a video on it showing you guys how to take it off and get it on 2 seconds flat. Don't you know, Rob Ski did a video on it like 2 days ago. I thought maybe he was in here, you know, listening to this, and got the video up before I could do it, but I don't know. Anyway, so if you're still wanting to know how to do it, you can go check out his video that just came out on the AK Operators channel. But now I feel like a turd doing a video after he did it, like I'm copying him or something. But whoever was in here 2 weeks ago, that's when I said I'd do it. So, you know, at least I had the idea first, maybe. I don't know. New Mexico. You know, got, man, that governor down there, holy Christ. She's out of her mind. She puts that edict out there that's blatantly unconstitutional. Even CNN was calling her out on it, and she still is arguing black and white on it. You know, that she has the right to do that it's not a ban, it's a temporary moratorium, and that she can do that. Okay. What if they put a temporary moratorium on something else? I don't know, abortions, whatever, right? I don't think she'd have the same feeling about that, would she? It's amazing. It's amazing. Hopefully you can vote that person out. It never ceases to amaze me. Maybe it's just that I'm a Midwesterner, and I think most Midwesterners think this way. We think about states like Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, hell, even Wyoming, or not Wyoming, Oregon. I know better on Oregon, but the other ones, really, those to me, you know, those are, you're growing up as a kid, those are cowboy states, man. There's no, what do you mean anti-gun stuff? Doesn't everybody out there run around with rifles on the rack in their back window of their pickup truck? How the hell does this happen in these states? And you guys will probably tell me, well, it's, you know, California people moving in or what have you. But I just don't get that. I mean, that is the West. You would think it's ingrained in the heritage, like it is here in Wisconsin. Wisconsin and Michigan are probably, and even Pennsylvania, but look at Pennsylvania. Some of the biggest deer hunting states in the country. You know, there's more guns and ammunition in the state of Wisconsin on opening day of deer season than there ever was at one time during the Vietnam War in Vietnam. That's amazing. And that's a true stat. At least it was the year I heard it. And that was years ago. I can only imagine now. But so you think, how does this stuff happen? How does this ingrained culture, this heritage, just fall by the wayside? Well, it's because we allow it to. We let them take an inch, or, well, it's just this, or it's just that, or it's that FUD mentality. Well, I'm a deer hunter. I don't care about those black rifles. You can't hunt anything with those things. Well, I beg to differ. I hunted deer this year with an AK-47, actually, and I'm 70, but, to the average Joe, it's an AK-47. You can certainly hunt deer with an AR in a multitude of calibers, right? Probably the most popular platform on the planet for coyotes, for varmints, groundhogs, you name it. Hogs, for that matter. So we allow it to happen. That FUD mentality has to go. I know my next door neighbor in northern Wisconsin is bigger patriot than any of us, and a gun guy, a huge hunter, been on safari in Africa multiple times, hunted everywhere, Canada, big fisherman, outdoorsman, pro gun, right? We're sitting out having cocktails one night last summer. And one of the events happened, almost on demand. And we were talking about it. And he says, I don't know. You got to get rid of these goddamn things, these assault weapons, And I said, I kind of was taken back. And his son was standing there, and his son saw my reaction. And I just kind of, he's a great friend and a great love him. Couldn't ask for a better neighbor. And I said, Jim, you got to understand, it's not about what kind of rifle, and it's not the gun. It's, the parenting and the usual, all the stuff I went through, right? And he says, yeah, but you don't need that stuff. And, they let the kids get them. I said, absolutely. That's, part of the problem. But getting rid of them isn't going to solve it. And went through it. And he convinced that he was right on it. And here's a gun guy. Conservative as the day is long. And I talked to his son, and he says, I'm working on them. Don't worry. But they just don't see it. A lot of gun people, a lot of hunters weren't brought up around tactical type of stuff. And, they grew up a decade or two ahead of us, and you didn't have the problems you have today. So they don't see the need for it in a lot of ways. Or they live where we are up there north, and there you don't have those problems. You don't have the crime. You don't have people you don't know, for that matter. You know everybody. Small town, that far north, you depend on your neighbor. And it's a hard fight, but you've got to get them to understand that it's not this big issue to them. They'd be fine. Yeah, get rid of it. They don't see that that's just another peck of flesh, cut by death by 1,000 cuts. And you got to get them to realize that that's what it is, because in my opinion, whether it comes to a politician, a group, or whatever, if you want to compromise and give one more millimeter, I'm not voting for you, period. We need to take things back, not give up more. We need to get things back. When they repeal the NFA, and for that matter, every gun law in the books, then I'll be happy. Until then, nope. It's a very simple, enumerated few sentences. And it's probably the most plain amendment out there, and that's shall not be infringed. Means Nothing. You can't do anything. Nothing. Zero. It's my right to have anything I want. Contrary to Mr. Biden's belief, you could own cannons since the dawn of this country, and you can still own a cannon. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure with not a lot of energy, I could have one delivered to my door. I know I can. It's funny. Couldn't own a cannon back then. Well, let's think about this. You guys have heard of all the famous pirates, right? Well, back in those days, 1700s, or even till the late 1700s, maybe even early 1800s, what were pirates referred to as? Privateers, right? They were private citizens that owned ships, and they armed their ships with cannons. Didn't need any license. You could buy as many cannonballs and gunpowder and cannons as you wanted. And that's still true today. You can buy black powder, you can buy a cannon, you can buy cannonballs to fire out of it. And you don't even need a license. So, starting with your president, they're grossly misinformed. Yeah. I can buy a cannon, I can shoot a cannon. Should you be able to own hand grenades? Absolutely. 100%. Full automatic? Absolutely. I need to have exactly what our military has. Why? Because the Second Amendment has nothing to do with hunting. Absolutely zero. It actually pisses me off when people talk about, well, it's so I can protect my family. Well, yes, it is, but that's not the real reason. When they talked about protecting your liberty, they talked about protecting it from tyrants, from tyrannical governments. Well, do you think your government is going to? Yeah, it happens every day. Happens every day. Um, there's governments that do bad things to people, their own people, all the time. We have defended millions and millions and millions of people around the world from governments just like that. So when you're talking Second Amendment, that means you should have at a minimum the ability to wage war at least as well as our military does. That means they should be able to have all the small arms they have. Should I be able to own a tank? Absolutely. You want to own a tank? You can own one. You could own a ship back then, a naval level ship, cannons. It wasn't illegal to be a privateer or a pirate. It wasn't illegal to own that ship and the equipment to do that. What was illegal was the theft that was involved, correct? So why not? I mean, you can go buy a fighter jet right now. Matter of fact, I think probably the most affordable is one of the retired Czechoslovakian fighter jets. Now, you can't at this time buy the armaments for it, the missiles, the guns, the underwing guns, and ammunition and all. But you can buy the jet after it's been demilitarized. Well, I think you should be able to own all that. It's not to say I think it's legal for someone to use it with malice against another citizen or something. Absolutely not. Just like it's not legal to use any firearm with malintent other than unless it's justified, But yeah, for sure you should. Why shouldn't we be? The whole point of it was to be able to fight back against a tyrannical government. Do we need all those things? I don't know. In a perfect world, yeah, you probably would if you needed to fight back. Just like he said, you need jets and tanks and nuclear weapons. Biden saying all that. Well, yeah, in a perfect world. But, as an individual, nobody's got the money to do that, right? But it's not to say that you need all that, because This country's lost a couple little skirmishes against farmers with pitchforks, essentially, right? What happened to the British in the 1770s and 80s happened to us in Afghanistan and in Vietnam, and they were nothing more than peasants armed with the most rudimentary rifle in the world, the AK-47, right? So when they say, how are you going to fight back against a government with just that? Well, let's take a look over at what happened in Afghanistan. Yeah, they did pretty good. They've been doing it for well over 100 years, huh? They've been fighting everybody off through eternity, I think, over there. They've been attacked by everybody, invaded by everybody, and they've fought every one of them off, including the greatest country in the world. So, small arms can work wonders, right? Let's see. Coda State of Maine just passed a ban on military-style training. This is an alarming, isn't it? Isn't it? Well, if it's military-style training, is it just against civilians? Or what about the National Guard? Can they train? What about military schools? And what constitutes it? You and your buddy getting together and, shooting together? A little scary. I'll tell you what it says, guys. It says a couple of things. They're scared of you. They're scared of you. They know that some of the best weapons in the world are in the hands of people that love their country. And yeah, you know the rest. Did you get any pictures of? Oh, yeah, I got tons. I'll put together a video with a bunch of them. I got video of them. So the night before I got my $1, I got a video of this deer walking under my stand. And when I say mind-boggling, I mean the rack is just so tall. It's unbelievably tall. It was wide too. It was a couple inches past the zero on each side, just so tall. And this was a big buck and a mature buck. He was beat up, man. He had been running his tail off and working hard for it. You could see his fur and everything. And he walked. I got him on my camera on video. He walked right under my stand and right past the camera. And I saw that video, my heart stopped. And I thought, oh my God, I should have been out there tonight. I mean, he walked broadside right past. And so I went out that next morning, and I wasn't in the stand half an hour, 20 minutes when he came running straight at me, this other deer. I thought it was him, because when you got a very short amount of time, he was, doe had come through, and all of a sudden I saw her perk up and take off. And I go, something's on her tail. And I look up, and coming straight at me at a trot is this deer, and all I see is horns as he comes over the hill. So I'm grabbing my bow and getting everything set, and he's coming, and I got 2 seconds. I had to actually go and stop him, or he would have went right in the woods next to me. That he came across that trail so fast. I thought it was him. And it turned out to be a really wide 8-pointer. Nice buck. I mean, nice 8-pointer. Really nice 8-pointer. But it wasn't him. So he's still out there. I didn't find any sheds this year, but I really didn't do much hunting. I want to disturb this property as little as possible and not put any pressure on him. Got enough pressure with the house and everything. I'm sure it's done some damage for now. They'll come back, but it's done some damage. But I didn't hear of any neighbors getting them. And man, oh man, I may have a few pictures of them earlier in the year when I had a big bachelor group on the property. But I think he showed up. I don't think he's living on the property, though. I don't know. We'll see this year when I get my cameras out and see what's going on. But when I tell you a heart stopper, man, oh man, by far the biggest buck I've ever seen personally. I'll see if I can get that video into a video for YouTube. But man, guys, I hear stories about how crazy some of these guys are and what they do for bighorns. I mean, there's some channels that specialize in whitetail hunting. Guys track down these properties by just pictures they see of somebody's property, and they figure out where it's at and what, and talking to people. And before you know it, they're in there and they're poaching, or they get a property next door and it's crazy what they'll do. Some guy shows a huge deer, and all of a sudden there's a swarm of people. And how they figure it out, I don't know. Maybe they know they figure out the YouTuber, who it is, where they live, and then there's apps to find hunting land and who owns what, and they figure it out, and they're there. And next thing you know, your deer's gone, and some jackass on YouTube is taking your deer. So I don't know. I may just keep that one to myself, but needless to say, there's just a lot of nice deer. But I may have run them all off with all the construction. Who knows? The red state of Michigan is controlled by the blue state of Wayne County. Yes. If I have two pencils and one is yellow and one is black, does that mean the black one is an assault? But yeah, never thought of that. How many leads does it have? Does it have like like 5 different leads where it can, remember those Bic pens with the 4 colors, you know? Is that like a pepper box pistol kind of? So I'm giving up smoking, guys. I have to. I can't breathe anymore. I got to start working out. I don't necessarily want to be laid up in a chair in my house doing nothing. I got too much fun to have yet. I've been smoking too many years, and it's going away. Hopefully by next week's live stream. This will be the last live stream you see me puffing away. Minnesota has the same problem as Michigan, red state, Minneapolis. Well, plus the amount of immigrants you have in Minneapolis. I heard that absolutely huge influx over the last 10, 15 years. Michigan, too. I mean, it started back in the mid to late 80s in Detroit. I used to hear all my friends in college from Detroit talk about it, you know. It was crazy. You have a good night, Chase. We're going to cut it off here too pretty quick unless you guys got some more questions or want anything. Guys, don't forget super chat if you could. We always appreciate it. Helps out the channel. Blue state, Minneapolis controls red state. Yep. If a deer is eating out of your garden and you depend on the food to live, do you shoot the deer? I would say if you're depending on your garden to feed you, you're probably depending on venison as well. But shame on you for not protecting your garden. My wife wants to have a big garden here, and I want to, of course, just till up the ground, and it's a farm, for Christ's sake. Let's grow some vegetables, you know. She wants to do raised beds. I'm like, why? It's like, well, because of pesticides the farmer's been putting on for years and years. Well, yeah, but, you know, they're not spraying directly our garden where it is or whatever. But she wants to do raised beds, so we're going to try that out. It will be easier for weeding and that kind of stuff. And because of the deer and every other animal out here, I'm sure we'll have to protect it quite a bit just to keep it from getting eaten to the ground, you know. So it might be easier to do that. We're going to try it out. First year, we'll try that out. We're not gardeners anyways. Very little experience in that. So I think it's better to try it on a small scale and learn as we go. And then if we need more room, we can do that. So we'll see. Would I shoot the deer just for eating the garden? No, I wouldn't. Not to say I won't reduce the herd during hunting season, but even then, I'm not a guy that I don't subscribe to the old saying, if it's brown, it's down. I think that destroys quality deer hunting. I think it destroys your ability to grow big, mature bucks with nice antlers. Killing off the does, I think, is a big mistake. I think the more does you have on your property, the more bucks you're going to attract. And yeah, I don't shoot does. Never have. Now, if I was absolutely overrun, would I probably take a few out? But I have way more bucks than I have does right now. I see 2 bucks for every doe easily. Now this year, who knows? We'll see. Plus, the farm's going to be a lot different this year. We had corn out here, and the corn wrapped all these fingers of woods that came out that gave them great cover. Now we got soybeans this year. They're not going to have that high cover to cover their exit and entrance to the woods, and they won't be able to go out in the corn and bed or eat, without worrying about what's around them. So I think that may change it up too. I may be hoping for corn next year, but I'm definitely, that'll be part. Well, the lease will be up for the farmer. I just did a year-to-year lease, so I can tell him, hey, yeah, if you want to do corn, fine, you got the lease. If not, I'll find somebody else. But we're going to start putting some food plots in, some other stuff. Just debating on what to do right now. Probably should get something in pretty quick here. But I don't know. I don't have that much knowledge with it, so I'm trying to learn. I'd love to be able to afford one of these big shot guys that comes out and tells you all about your property and what to do, and that'd be great. But they're like 10 grand, man. That's crazy money. But if I could afford it, I'd do it for sure. But oh well, I think I can figure it out on my own here. Plus, I got a neighbor that borders us that thinks the same way. So, and he's become a friend. So, between the two of us, we'll figure it out. And he's got all the equipment to help me put food plots in and all that. So we'll see. It'll be fun. It'll be fun, that's for sure. But right now, I got enough on my plate with just getting this house done. Then we'll worry about it. So this year, hunting season will be what it'll be. And then after that, we can just make it better and better and better. So I just hope that my first fall here wasn't my best fall. I mean, in the first 3 sits during archery season, the first sit, I had a 10-pointer come in. The last second switch pass, and I had to switch sides real quick. And he heard the shot and recoil. It went right over his back by about half an inch. Missed him. The next sit, I had a couple does come in. One sit, I saw nothing, and the 4th time out, I had the other buck come in and I shot him. I mean, I've had bucks under my stand 50% of the time, nice bucks, all of them shooters, from 50% of the time, and it's just because I watched their movements, I targeted their movements, I charted their movements and times when they were passing AM PM, and I can get the time I spend in a tree stand down to a very small amount of time. So basically what I'm saying is my ratio to hours in a tree versus deer on the ground is very small. If you're sitting days, weeks on end waiting to see a deer, you're doing something wrong, even on public land. People in Michigan bitch about public land all the time. If there's no deer, there's no mature bucks, there's no this, there's no that. I hunted Michigan public land in the heyday, and we always did well. And it was, what the difference was? It was a matter of, God, you'd drive out into whatever, state forest, national forest, timber paper country, or logging roads, that type of stuff. And you could see the majority of people parked in the first, God, not even a half mile in, I bet. And all you got to do is go a little further in, just a little further in. But guys don't want to hike, they don't want to walk out in the dark. They get scared. But we always saw deer, lots of deer. Always had deer on the table. Bow season, rifle season too. Public land, that's all we had to hunt. I don't know. I think it's about, if you're somewhere where there's a ton of hunters, figure out, even if it's a relatively small amount of acreage in a state forest or something, figure out where those hunters are not, and that's where the deer are, because they're pushing them out, man. They're still, how many of you guys have done this? You go out, bow season, rifle season, whatever, new spot, you sit down, daylight comes and you look around and you can see 3 game cameras, 2 stands, maybe 1 guy, all within 100 yards of you. Figure out where they're not at. And don't even forget the deer sign. Figure out where the hunters are not at, and you'll find deer. Maine, I get a kick out of Maine. I watched that Northwoods Law. Man, you guys got some pricks for DNR agents out there. They are serious. From what I understand, you guys had not the greatest whitetail herd, huh? So they really protect them, or at least that's what they say on the show. I mean, my God. Took my first Maine archery doe this year. No luck in the stand, still hunting, walking on a snowy day. Nice. That's the best feeling, isn't it? That's true hunting. I love still hunting. And the key to that is you have to go so much slower than you think you do. And I kind of contradict myself on this one. While I'm moving through the woods, I try to be absolutely silent. Like, I worry about every little on a boot or something like that. I learned that deer don't hear as much as you think they hear. I've made some noises that I thought, oh my God, I just blew it. And they paid no attention. Zero. Didn't even, a lot of it has to do with the direction the wind's blowing, how much wind there is. Windy days do a couple things. They'll make deer hole up sometimes, but boy, they'll cover a lot of sound and a lot of mistakes. So they're not bad days to hunt, but you got to move so slow, because movement is your enemy, not necessarily sound. Deer will pick up movement more than anything. You ever seen a deer do this? He's looking up, down. They don't see depth or 3D. They see 2D. So they try to look from different angles to see what that is. They see something and they know it's not right, but as long as you're motionless, they can't figure it out. That's why hunting in a plaid shirt and all that worked back in the day. They can't pick it out, but you move like that. You move the littlest bit and boom, they're gone. You got to move slow, 4 or 5 steps, 2, 3 steps, and stop. And I mean, stop for 5 minutes and just look at what's going on around you. Use your eyes. Don't use your head. Don't be moving. Use your ears. Listen. You'll hear them coming most of the time, unless it's real damp and everything's silent. But just sit there and wait. And if you have to, look at your watch, because a minute could seem like 10 minutes, But just watch, and then take another 3, 4 steps and use what cover is there available. Get behind trees, get behind bushes, use changes in elevation, all that stuff. And the other thing is, forget about scent blocks and scent blocking clothing and all that crap. None of it works. Zero. There's no way it can work. I'm going to wear a scent lock suit. What about your head? unless you're encapsulating yourself in a bubble like the boy in the bubble, whatever. It's not doing you any good. You can cut it down. You're not getting rid of it. Their nose is so sensitive. They don't only smell you; they smell what you had for lunch, and they smell everything. So you better be using the wind. That's your only protection is the wind, and you better understand thermals if you're hunting in areas where the elevation changes. We've all felt it. You're sitting in your stand, and you're on the top of a ridge, let's say, and you'll feel that air rising up the hill. You'll just feel that colder air coming up the hill. How many times you've been at the bottom of a hill at night, and the thermals come in, and all that air is going down into the bottom, all that cold air. And man, you walk up out of that bottom, and it's 10 degrees warmer in a 30, 40-foot difference in height elevation. So would know the thermals, especially because thermals are happening in the morning and at night, exactly when you're hunting most of the time. So pay attention to thermals, wind direction, and know that wind can change. If that wind changes on you, get the hell out of that stand. Get somewhere else. And movement. But still hunting can be awesome because when it works and you do it right and you get one, that's true hunting. And it's so hard to do with whitetails, boy. It really is. But it can be done. I've done it a couple times. I enjoy it. If something's slow in my stand, especially on public land, I'll get out and walk. I don't like to put pressure on the land here, so I don't like to still hunt through it. But the edges, maybe along a neighbor's edge or something like that, nothing wrong with that. Or go check out a public area down the road or something like that. Always fun. It has a Dearborn-like community, yeah, right? Are the police yet scared to go in there? Took my first bait. Well, guys, we are an hour and 37 minutes. Something a little different tonight, a little hunting. If you are a hunter, now is a good time to get in there, get your stands. Maybe they need a little repair. You need to straighten them out or put them up or move a stand. Get it done now because you want to stay out of there for the summer and into fall. Stay out of there. Don't be tempted. Don't be tempted to go pull SIM cards out of your cameras, get a cell cam where you don't have to go in because you'll do more damage. If you want to see big bucks, you can jump a doe, you can jump a year or two old buck. You jump a 4, 5, 6, 7-year-old buck, give him any reason, and that's the last time you're going to see him. He's gone. That's the reason they get so big. He'll be on to the next safe area. Jump him once. Boom. Hope you enjoy hunting forkies. Yeah. So now that we're on this property and I set my baseline with that guy I got this year, I won't take a deer less than that. That's how I was operating back when I was hunting in college and after, and it had been a lot of years. So this is kind of the new baseline, and the only deer I'll take will be ones that outscore this guy. And even then, if I got a feeling, if I'm seeing this deer and he's here living on this property and he's got potential, maybe I'll let him go another year. I'm not out there just to put deer in the freezer. I like venison, but I can get enough venison from friends and everybody else. I want to grow big bucks and have lots of them and really enjoy myself. And I enjoy watching them on camera, on the whatever, as much as I do hunting. I mean, on my way home at night, I drive 20 miles an hour the last few miles, just watching the fields, looking, seeing the movement, what they're doing, where they're at. I got my binoculars out here on the property all the time, just watching them cruise through the turkeys, whatever. And that's how you learn a property. That's how you learn an area and the movement, everything else. Be watching all year long. Anyhow, that's all I got for you guys. Hopefully we got some good news coming on the 2A front here pretty soon. I'm waiting for it. Kind of shitty news this week on some of it, and the whole FFL, everybody's an FFL thing coming down and all this other crap. But it'll all work out. But just know you got to keep your nose to the grindstone and help the cause. So get out there and help. Do something good for the 2A this week. Take a kid hunting, fishing, shooting, target shooting, what have you. Teach someone how to reload. You got to get people involved. The more people involved, well, the more people there are to fight for it and stand up for it. That's all. But don't get down. Just know that it'll all work out. Not worried. If we all do our part, it'll be just fine. Make sure you support those organizations. Go over to Brandon Herrera's channel and check him out. Brandon Herrera for Congress.com, and give him a little help too. We need guys like him. He's on that border too. He's right where everybody's crossing. Eagle Pass, that's his district there. So get over there, throw him a little coin if you can, and help the cause. I know he could use it. It's what it comes down to, guys, dollars and cents. So if you can do it, do it. I will get you a video this week, I promise. So be looking for that. I hope you enjoy it. And we'll bring you an update next week on how everything's going. And we'll talk about more Kalashnikovs and anything else you want to talk about. Thanks for coming, guys. Thanks for everything you do for the channel. Make sure you like the video before you leave. And if you can, share it. Introduce someone to the live stream or our videos. I would appreciate it. And if you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe and so you get the notifications when we do these live streams. But once again, thank you all. Have a great night. God bless. God bless the USA. And as always, Rockford Ordnance out. Good night.